The sky darkened over Seoul as the giant ships moved into place. They were not like human ships. They looked alive, part machine, part animal. The biggest one looked like a tiger with metal parts. Commander Tahoe stood on the roof of the United Earth Defense Force headquarters. His hands gripped the railing tight as he watched the ships block out the sun. "How many?" he asked. 12 big ones over major cities," said Captain Sun. "Hundreds of smaller ones in orbit." Tahoe's radio crackled. "Sir, we have movement. The Tiger ship is opening." From the belly of the massive Tiger ship, smaller craft flew down toward Earth. They moved like living things, not machines. Tahoe raised his binoculars. The ships had no straight lines, only curves and what looked like veins pulsing along their sides. "All units hold position," Tahoe ordered. "Do not fire unless fired upon. We need to try talking first." 6 hours later, Tahoe sat in the emergency meeting room with world leaders on giant screens around him. The aliens had landed in 30 locations around the world. They called themselves the Allians. "They want what?" asked the President of the United States. "Surrender," said Tahoe. "Complete surrender of Earth." The room filled with angry voices. Tahoe held up his hand. "The Allian messenger said their queen will speak to us in 1 hour." On cue, all screens in the room flickered. The face that appeared made Tahoe step back in surprise. The Allian queen looked almost human, but her skin had a blue tint and her eyes were too large. She might have been beautiful if not for the cold look in those eyes. "I am Jisoo, Queen of the Allian Empire," she said in perfect English. "Your world is now mine." "We wish to talk peacefully," said the UN Secretary General. "We can share." "No," Jisoo cut him off. "There is no sharing. There is only serving or dying. You have strong bodies. You will serve." Tahoe stepped forward. "And if we refuse?" The Queen's eyes fixed on him. Her lips curved into what might have been a smile. "Then we will do what we always do. We will take the strongest of you for our needs. The rest will feed my tiger." The screens went dark. What did she mean by that? Someone asked. No one had to wait long to find out. Within hours, reports came in from around the world. The Allians were taking people, strong people, soldiers, athletes, workers. They were put in the small ships and taken up to the big ones. In the days that followed, Tahoe learned more about the Allians. They were not just one species, but many merged together. They had a hive mind, all connected to their queen. They had conquered many worlds before Earth, and now they were here. "We found something," said Mina, a young scientist who had been studying the Allian technology. She showed Tahoe a video from a spy drone. It showed people being taken into the Tiger ship, but none came out. "What are they doing with them?" Tahoe asked. Mina's face was pale. "The ship, it's alive. It's feeding on them." Later that night, Tahoe met with Ha-1, the leader of the growing resistance. She had short black hair and eyes that burned with anger. "The Queen's ship is growing," she said. "Each day it gets bigger, stronger. How do we fight something like that?" Tahoe asked. Ha-1 handed him a small device. "We captured this from an Allian scout. It's how they talk to each other. And we found something interesting." She pressed a button, and Allian voices filled the room. "The Queen feeds her tiger blood," said one voice. "The blood of the strong makes her stronger." "And us weaker," said another voice. Not all agree with this path. Tahoe looked up at Ha-1. "They're not all loyal to her." Ha-1 nodded. "No, and that may be our only hope." Outside, the Tiger ship glowed in the night sky, a new star that promised only darkness. Ha-1 moved through the dark streets of what used to be Busan. Now it was just another Allian gathering zone. She pulled her mask tighter over her face. The night air was cold, but that was not why she wore the mask. The Allians could smell humans from far away. 3 minutes, said the voice in her ear. It was Tahoe, watching from their hidden base. Haiwan nodded even though Taeho could not see her. She pressed herself against a wall as an Allian patrol passed by. The aliens walked with smooth steps, their blue skin glowing faintly in the dark. Each carried a long staff that could shoot beams of burning light. When they passed, Haiwan moved quickly to the old factory building. Inside, 20 humans waited in cages. They were the strong ones, taken from their homes to be sent to the Tiger ship. "I count 4 guards," Haiwan whispered into her radio. "Too many for a quiet rescue," said Taeho. Haiwan pulled out a small metal ball from her pocket. "Then we won't be quiet." She rolled the ball toward the guards. It made a soft ping sound, and the nearest alien looked down at it. Then the ball burst open with blinding light and a high sound that hurt human ears but made aliens fall to the ground in pain. Haiwan ran to the cages and used her laser cutter to break the locks. "Quickly," she told the people. "We have 2 minutes before more come." The freed people followed Haiwan through a tunnel that led away from the factory. They had just made it to the safe house when the alarm sirens started. "That was close," said Taeho, meeting them at the door. He looked at the freed people. "Did any of you see inside the ship?" A tall man stepped forward. His face was thin from hunger. "I was on the ship for 3 days," he said. "My name is Q. I was a soldier before." Taeho led Q to a small room where Mina waited with her recording tools. "Tell us everything," she said. Q's hands shook as he spoke. "They put us in cells. Each day they took some of us to a big room. There was a machine there. No, not a machine. It was alive. It looked like the inside of some huge animal." "The tiger," Mina said quietly. Q nodded. "They put people in this mouth. It had tubes that stuck into the people's arms and legs. The tubes pulled out their blood. All of it." Haiwan felt sick. "What happened to the bodies?" "They were eaten," Q said. His eyes were wide with fear at the memory. "The whole room was alive. It ate them." Later, Taeho and Haiwan showed the recording to their team. The room was quiet after it ended. "The queen is feeding her tiger ship with human blood," said Taeho. "But why? What does she gain?" The answer came 3 days later. Mina burst into the command room, her face pale. "Look at this," she said, pointing to her screen. It showed pictures of the tiger ship taken over the past month. "It's bigger," Haiwan said. "Much bigger." "Not just bigger," said Mina. "It's changing, growing new parts. See these?" She pointed to what looked like gun barrels growing from the ship's sides. "These weren't there last week." Taeho studied the images. "The queen is making her ship stronger by feeding it our people." The door to the command room opened. A guard came in with a strange-looking alien. This one was smaller than the others, and its skin was more green than blue. "We found him trying to get into our west entrance," said the guard. "Says he wants to talk to the leaders." The alien looked at them with large, sad eyes. "My name is Du-Ho," he said in careful human speech. "Not all aliens follow the queen. Some of us think what she does is wrong." Haiwan raised her gun. "Why should we trust you?" Du-Ho held out his hands. In them was a small device. "Because I can tell you how to fight back. I know the queen's secret. I know why she needs the blood." Taeho looked at the alien for a long moment. Then he nodded. "Tell us." Du-Ho's voice was soft but clear. "The tiger is not just a ship. It is part of her. And its hunger is her hunger. It will never stop growing, never stop feeding. Unless..." "Unless what?" asked Haiwan. "Unless you can break the link between the queen and her tiger," said Du-Ho. "And I think I know how." The sky turned red as the tiger ship moved over Seoul. Its huge shadow covered the city like a dark cloud. People looked up in fear as smaller ships flew down from its belly. In the underground base, Taeho watched on screens as the Allians gathered thousands of humans in the city center. They had been doing this in cities all over the world. "What are they planning?" he asked. Du-ho, the alien who had joined them, looked worried. It is time for the great feeding. The queen does this every time she takes a new world. On the screens, they saw the queen's face appear on giant displays around the city. She looked stronger than before, her blue skin glowing with power. "People of Earth," she said, "today you will see the true power of the Allian Empire. Today you will understand why fighting is useless." The tiger ship opened its mouth, a huge door in its underside. A beam of light shot down to the city center where the people were gathered. Slowly, hundreds of humans were lifted up into the air, floating toward the ship. "We have to stop this," Ha-1 shouted. She grabbed her weapons. Tai-ho caught her arm. "No, we can't win today. We need to wait." "Wait for what?" "For all of us to be eaten." Mina stepped forward. "Wait for us to understand what Du-ho has been telling us." They watched in horror as the humans disappeared into the tiger ship. Then, the ship began to change. Its skin rippled and bulged. New parts grew from its sides. Its eyes, giant red lights on its front, grew brighter. "The queen is connecting to the ship," Du-ho explained. "When it feeds, she feeds. When it grows stronger, she grows stronger." On the screens, they saw the queen lift her arms. As she did, all the aliens in the city did the same. Their eyes glowed the same red as the ship's eyes. "She controls them all," said Tai-ho. "Yes," Du-ho said. "Through the blood connection, each alien has a small piece of the tiger inside them. It links us to the queen's mind." After the feeding, Earth's military forces tried to fight back. Jets flew up to attack the tiger ship. Tanks fired at aliens on the ground. Nothing worked. The jets were swatted from the sky by the ship's new weapons. The tanks were destroyed by aliens who seemed stronger than before. "We need to retreat," Tai-ho told world leaders over a secure line. "Save as many people as you can. Go underground." That night, Tai-ho, Ha-1, and Mina sat with Du-ho in a small room deep under the city. "Tell us everything about this blood connection," Tai-ho said. Du-ho touched his chest. "Long ago, the queen was a normal alien. She found an ancient ship, what you call the tiger. It was alive but sleeping. She woke it by feeding it her blood. It gave her power, but it also made her hungry for more." "More blood?" Mina said. "Yes. First she took blood from volunteers, then from prisoners, then from whole cities. Now she takes it from entire planets." Ha-1 leaned forward. "You said we can break the connection. How?" "The connection works because the blood carries no resistance," Du-ho explained. "Your blood becomes part of the tiger, and through it, part of the queen's mind. But what if the blood carried something the queen could not control?" Mina's eyes widened. "Like what?" "On our homeworld, there were stories of aliens who could resist the queen's call. They filled their minds with something stronger than her control." "What was stronger?" asked Tai-ho. "Memory," Du-ho said. "Deep, personal memory. The kind that makes you who you are. The queen's control works by erasing individual thought. But strong memories can fight this." Mina jumped up. "I think I understand. If we could somehow use our memories as a weapon." "How do we do that?" asked Ha-1. "We can't just inject memories into people." Mina looked at Du-ho. "But maybe we can broadcast them, like the queen broadcasts her control." Du-ho nodded slowly. "It might work, but you would need very strong memories. The strongest kind." "And what kind is that?" asked Tai-ho. Du-ho's large eyes were sad. "The memories of loss. The names of those you have lost." Mina had not slept for 3 days. Her small lab in the underground base was filled with papers and strange devices. Some were human technology. Others were alien parts that Du-ho had helped her understand. Tai-ho stood in the doorway, watching her work. "Any progress?" Mina looked up, her eyes red from lack of sleep. "I think so. Come look at this." She led him to a table where a small device sat. It looked like a mix of a human computer and the strange curved technology of the Allians. "What is it?" Tai-Ho asked. "A way to fight back," Mina said. She pointed to a screen showing brainwaves. Du-Ho let me scan his brain while he thought about different things. "Look what happens when he remembers someone who died." The waves on the screen change, becoming stronger and more complex. "The Allian hive mind works on simple patterns," Mina explained. "But strong emotions create complex patterns that can disrupt it, especially grief." Tai-Ho frowned. "So we need sad memories. Not just sad, personal, real. The queen feeds her tiger blood without names or faces, just food. But what if we feed our weapon the names of our dead, each name carrying the weight of loss and love?" Tai-Ho was silent for a moment. Then he said, "How many names would we need?" "Thousands, maybe millions, and each name must be spoken by someone who knew that person, who feels their loss." Later that day, Tai-Ho called a meeting with all resistance leaders around the world. He explained Mina's plan. "We call it the Names Project," he said. "We need to collect the names of everyone killed by the Allians, not just a list. We need people to speak the names while thinking about who that person was." Ha-One spoke up. "How will this help us fight?" Mina answered, "The names and memories create a pattern that the Queen cannot control. If we collect enough and broadcast them into the Allian network, it might break her hold on them." "Might?" someone asked. "It's the best chance we have," Tai-Ho said. The work began. In hidden bases all over the world, people came to speak the names of those they had lost. They sat in small rooms with Mina's recording devices and spoke not just names, but stories. "Kim Young-soo," said an old woman. "My son, he loved to fish by the river. He always shared what he caught with our neighbors." Her voice broke as she spoke, but the machine recorded the emotion in her words. "Park Ji-min," said a young man. "My teacher. She taught us math and always stayed late to help anyone who was struggling." The machine hummed, storing not just the words but the feeling behind them. Day after day, the names were collected. Mina worked with Du-Ho to build a device that could send these names and memories into the Allian network. "Will it work?" Ha-One asked one night as they looked at the growing database of names. "The science is sound," Mina said, "but we need more names, and we need to get close to the Queen to broadcast them." Tai-Ho joined them, his face tired but determined. "We have a new problem. The Allians are changing their patrol patterns. They're looking for us." "How do they know?" asked Ha-One. "I think someone is helping them," Tai-Ho said quietly. "Someone human." Just then, the lights in the base flickered. Alarms began to sound. "We're under attack," someone shouted. Tai-Ho ran to the main control room. On the screens, he could see Allian ships surrounding their base. "How did they find us?" Ha-One asked, her gun already in her hand. Tai-Ho looked at the screens, his face hard. "We have a traitor." Mina rushed in, clutching the small device. "The names database. We can't let them take it." Outside, the ground shook as the Allians began to dig into the earth, coming for them. The city of Daegu was quiet as Ha-One's team moved through empty streets. Once, 1 million people had lived here. Now it was just a place for Allians to gather humans for feeding. "Everyone in position," Ha-One said into her radio. She carried the names device in a small bag. It felt heavy with the weight of all the memories inside it. Mina's voice came through the radio. "The device needs 10 minutes to start up. Get as close to the Queen as you can." Ha-One and her team hid near the city center where a large platform had been built. This was where the Queen would watch the feeding. "Look," whispered one of her team, pointing up at the sky. The Tiger ship moved into position above the city. Its huge body blocked the sun, casting a dark shadow over everything. Smaller ships flew down, bringing hundreds of captured humans. They were put in a large cage near the platform. Then, a small golden ship landed on the platform. The Queen stepped out, looking even more powerful than before. Her blue skin glowed and her eyes were bright red, just like her tiger ship's eyes. Now, HFY said. She took out the names device and pressed the button to start it. Nothing happened. She pressed it again. Still nothing. Mina, she whispered into her radio. The device isn't working. There was no answer. Suddenly, Allian soldiers appeared all around them. They had been hiding, waiting. HFY and her team were surrounded. The Queen walked to the edge of the platform and looked down at them. Did you think I wouldn't know? She said, her voice cold. Did you think I wouldn't see? HFY tried to run, but the Allians caught her. They brought her to the platform, forcing her to kneel before the Queen. How did you know? HFY asked. The Queen smiled. It was a terrible smile. I had help. A door opened in the golden ship. Jin-Ho walked out. You, HFY said. You're the traitor. Jin-Ho's face was different now. Small blue lines ran under his skin, like veins but glowing. His eyes had a touch of red in them. I'm sorry, he said, but his voice didn't sound sorry. The Queen found me weeks ago. She put something in me, something that connects me to her. The Queen put her hand on Jin-Ho's shoulder. He has been very helpful. He told me all about your plan, about your name's weapon. Where is Taiho? HFY asked Jin-Ho. What did you do to him? He's alive. For now. Jin-Ho looked away. I had to choose a side. The winning side. The Queen turned to watch as her soldiers began to take people from the cage to a smaller version of the tiger ship on the ground. It had a mouth that opened, showing tubes inside. Watch, the Queen told HFY. Watch what happens to those who fight me. HFY was forced to watch as people were fed to the small tiger. Their blood was drained, their bodies consumed. The small tiger grew larger with each feeding. Soon your friends will join them, the Queen said. But first, I want to know where your main base is, where the names database is kept. I'll never tell you, HFY said. The Queen laughed. You won't have to. He will. She pointed at Jin-Ho. Jin-Ho stepped forward. Now his face looked pained. I'm fighting it, HFY. But I can't fight much longer. She's in my head. What is she? HFY asked, looking at the Queen. It was Du-Ho who answered. He had been brought out in chains. She was once like me, a scientist. But the tiger corrupted her. Now she is more tiger than Allian. The Queen's face changed with anger. Silence. It's true, Du-Ho continued. The tiger ships are ancient creatures. They sleep in space until someone wakes them with blood. Then they bond with that person, giving them power, but taking their soul. The tiger is me, and I am the tiger, said the Queen. We are one. And that is your weakness, said Du-Ho. The Queen laughed again. I have no weakness. You do, said a new voice. Taiho stepped out from behind a building, holding something in his hands. And her name is Min. The city of Daegu was quiet as HFY's team moved through empty streets. Once, 1 million people had lived here. Now it was just a place for Allians to gather humans for feeding. Everyone in position, HFY said into her radio. She carried the names device in a small bag. It felt heavy with the weight of all the memories inside it. Mina's voice came through the radio. The device needs 10 minutes to start up. Get as close to the Queen as you can. HFY and her team hid near the city center, where a large platform had been built. This was where the Queen would watch the feeding. Look, whispered one of her team, pointing up at the sky. The tiger ship moved into position above the city. Its huge body blocked the sun, casting a dark shadow over everything. Smaller ships flew down, bringing hundreds of captured humans. They were put in a large cage near the platform. Then, a small golden ship landed on the platform. The Queen stepped out, looking even more powerful than before. Her blue skin glowed and her eyes were bright red, just like her tiger ship's eyes. Now, HFY said. She took out the names device and pressed the button to start it. Nothing happened. She pressed it again. Still nothing. "Mina," she whispered into her radio. "The device isn't working." There was no answer. Suddenly, Allian soldiers appeared all around them. They had been hiding, waiting. HFY and her team were surrounded. The Queen walked to the edge of the platform and looked down at them. "Did you think I wouldn't know?" she said, her voice cold. "Did you think I wouldn't see?" HFY tried to run, but the Allians caught her. They brought her to the platform, forcing her to kneel before the Queen. "How did you know?" HFY asked. The Queen smiled. It was a terrible smile. "I had help." A door opened in the golden ship. Jinho walked out. "You," HFY said. "You're the traitor." Jinho's face was different now. Small blue lines ran under his skin, like veins but glowing. His eyes had a touch of red in them. "I'm sorry," he said, but his voice didn't sound sorry. "The Queen found me weeks ago. She put something in me, something that connects me to her." The Queen put her hand on Jinho's shoulder. "He has been very helpful. He told me all about your plan, about your name's weapon." "Where is Taiho?" HFY asked Jinho. "What did you do to him?" "He's alive. For now." Jinho looked away. "I had to choose a side. The winning side." The Queen turned to watch as her soldiers began to take people from the cage to a smaller version of the tiger ship on the ground. It had a mouth that opened, showing tubes inside. "Watch," the Queen told HFY. "Watch what happens to those who fight me." HFY was forced to watch as people were fed to the small tiger. Their blood was drained, their bodies consumed. The small tiger grew larger with each feeding. "Soon your friends will join them," the Queen said. "But first, I want to know where your main base is, where the name's database is kept." "I'll never tell you," HFY said. The Queen laughed. "You won't have to." "He will." She pointed at Jinho. Jinho stepped forward. Now his face looked pained. "I'm fighting it, HFY, but I can't fight much longer. She's in my head." "What is she?" HFY asked, looking at the Queen. It was Duho who answered. He had been brought out in chains. "She was once like me, a scientist, but the tiger corrupted her. Now she is more tiger than Allian." The Queen's face changed with anger. Silence. "It's true," Duho continued. "The tiger ships are ancient creatures. They sleep in space until someone wakes them with blood. Then they bond with that person, giving them power, but taking their soul. The tiger is me, and I am the tiger," said the Queen. "We are one." "And that is your weakness," said Duho. The Queen laughed again. "I have no weakness." "You do," said a new voice. Taiho stepped out from behind a building, holding something in his hands. "And her name is Min." The Queen turned to face Taiho. Her red eyes narrowed. "Who is Min?" she asked. "My daughter," Taiho said. He held up a small device that looked like the name's device, but smaller. "The one you fed to your tiger." The Queen laughed. "I have fed on thousands of your kind. One small child means nothing." "But she does," Taiho said, "because her name is in here, and so are all the others." Mina stepped out behind Taiho. She held another device. "The one Jinho told you about was a fake. This is the real name's database." Jinho's face showed surprise. "But I saw the device. I told her about it." "You saw what we wanted you to see," Taiho said. "We knew someone was helping the Queen. We didn't know it was you until it was too late." The Queen's smile faded. "It doesn't matter. Kill them all." Allian soldiers moved toward Taiho and Mina. But before they could reach them, Mina pressed a button on her device. A high sound filled the air. The Allian soldiers stopped, holding their heads in pain. "Now Taiho," Mina shouted. Taiho pressed the button on his small device. His voice came out of it, but much louder than normal. "Min, my daughter, 7 years old. She loved to draw tigers. His voice broke but continued. She wanted to be an artist. She made me a picture the day before they took her. The queen stepped back, her face showing confusion. Stop this. But Taeho's voice continued, joined by thousands of other voices from Mina's device, each speaking a name, each telling a story. Kim Ji-young, my mother. She taught me to cook. Park Sung-min, my best friend. He saved my life in the war. Lee Bora, my teacher. She believed in me when no one else did. The voices grew louder. The Allian soldiers fell to their knees, the red light in their eyes flickering. The queen screamed, "What is happening?" Du-ho, still in chains, laughed. The names of the dead. Each one carries a memory, a feeling, something you cannot control. The queen ran back to her golden ship. I must return to my tiger, she shouted. But before she could reach it, Jin-ho blocked her path. The blue lines under his skin were fading. I can hear them, he said. The names, they're breaking her control. The queen pushed him aside and ran into her ship. It took off, flying up toward the tiger ship above. We need to follow her, Taeho said. The weapon is working, but we need to get inside the main tiger ship to fully break her control. Ha-won, now free as her guards had collapsed, ran to them. How do we get up there? Jin-ho pointed to the smaller Allian ships nearby. I can fly one of those. The queen's control on me is weakening. Mina looked unsure. Can we trust him? Taeho looked at Jin-ho. The red in his eyes was almost gone. We have no choice. They took one of the small ships. Jin-ho flew it up toward the huge tiger ship above. All around them, other Allian ships flew in confusion as their pilots felt the queen's control weaken. Look, Mina said, pointing out the window. The tiger ship was changing. Parts of it were pulling apart, then coming back together. It seemed to be fighting itself. The queen is losing control of it. Du-ho said. The names are working. Their small ship flew into an opening in the side of the tiger ship. Inside was a huge space, part machine, part living thing. The walls pulsed like a giant heart. Where is she? Taeho asked. The center, Du-ho said, where the heart of the tiger is. They landed the ship and stepped out. The air inside was warm and smelled like blood. The floor moved under their feet like it was breathing. This way, Du-ho said, leading them down a long tunnel. But be careful. The queen will not give up easily. As they walked, the voices from the names device continued to speak. With each name, the walls around them shook. Ahead, they could see a bright red light. And in that light, a figure waited. The queen stood before a massive beating heart, her hands pressed against it. You're too late, she said, turning to face them. The tiger and I are becoming one. And when we do, no weapon can stop us. The queen stood before the giant heart of the tiger ship. Her body was changing. Blue lines covered her skin, pulsing with the same beat as the heart behind her. Tubes grew from the walls and connected to her arms and back. Look at her, Mina whispered. She's becoming part of the ship. Taeho held up the names device. The voices from it grew louder, filling the huge room. Silence them, the queen screamed. She raised her hand, and a wave of force hit them. Mina fell back, dropping her device. It slid across the floor. Get it, Taeho shouted. Ha-won ran for the device, but the floor moved under her feet. It rose up like living flesh, trying to grab her. The whole ship is fighting us, Du-ho said. We must get closer to the heart. That's where the queen's connection is strongest. Jin-ho stepped forward. The blue lines under his skin were almost gone now. I'll help, he said. He ran toward the queen. The queen saw him coming. Traitor, she hissed. She sent another wave of force at him, but Jin-ho kept moving. The names are protecting him, Du-ho said. Her control over him is broken. Jin-ho reached the queen and grabbed her arms. Now, he shouted to the others. Bring the names here. Tai-ho and Mina ran forward with their devices. The floor rose up around them, trying to stop them. Walls of flesh grew from the sides. But the voices of the dead continued to speak, and where their sound touched, the flesh pulled back. They reached Jin-ho and the queen. She fought against Jin-ho's hold, her face twisted with hate. Put the devices against the heart, Du-ho called. That's where the connection is centered. Tai-ho and Mina pressed their devices against the giant beating heart. The names spoke louder now, each one sending a wave of light through the heart. Kim Young-soo, Park Ji-min, Lee Bora. With each name, the queen screamed. The tubes connecting her to the ship began to pull away. What's happening to her? Ha-won asked. The names are breaking her connection to the tiger, Du-ho explained. Each name carries a human memory, a human feeling. The tiger feeds on blood without names, without stories. But these names have power. They remind the tiger what it is consuming. The queen broke free from Jin-ho and stumbled back. No, she cried. I am the tiger. The tiger is me. Not anymore, Tai-ho said. He held up his device higher, and his own voice came from it again. Min, my daughter, she loved to draw tigers. The queen fell to her knees. The tubes pulled completely away from her body, leaving bleeding holes. The heart of the tiger began to beat faster, shaking the whole room. The ship is dying, Du-ho said. We need to leave now. Tai-ho looked at the queen. She seemed smaller now, more like a normal Allian. The glow was gone from her skin. Her eyes were no longer red. What about her? Ha-won asked. Leave her, Jin-ho said. But Tai-ho shook his head. No, we take her with us. He walked to the queen and pulled her to her feet. You will live to see what you've done. You will hear every name. They ran back through the tunnels of the dying ship. Around them, walls collapsed and floors split open. The ship was tearing itself apart. They reached their small ship and climbed in. Jin-ho took the controls and flew them out through an opening in the side of the tiger ship. As they flew away, they watched the massive tiger ship break apart. Pieces of it fell toward Earth, burning in the atmosphere like shooting stars. It's over, Mina said. But Tai-ho shook his head, looking at the queen who sat silent in the corner of their ship. No, it's just beginning. He held up his device, and the names continued to speak. But now, they were not just weapons. They were a memorial, a reminder. The tiger is dead, Du-ho said, but we must not forget what it did. We won't, Tai-ho said. We fed our tiger the names of the dead, and we will keep feeding it, so this never happens again. 6 months had passed since the tiger ship fell from the sky. Spring had come to Earth again. Trees that had withered under the shadow of the Allian ships were green once more. Tai-ho stood on a hill overlooking what had once been Seoul. The city was slowly coming back to life. New buildings rose where old ones had fallen. People walked the streets without fear. It's good to see the city breathing again, said Ha-won, walking up to stand beside him. Yes, Tai-ho said, but there is still much to do. In the center of the city stood a new building. It was not like the others. Its walls were curved like Allian design, but it had been built by human hands. This was the Memorial of Names. Inside the memorial, Mina worked with a team of humans and aliens. They had built a great database that held all the names of those lost in the war. Visitors could come and speak new names, adding to the memory. How many names do we have now? Tai-ho asked as he entered the building. Mina looked up from her work. Over 15 million, and more come every day. In a special room at the heart of the memorial sat the queen. She was much changed. The blue had faded from her skin. Her eyes were dark and sad. She sat very still, listening to the names that played around her day and night. Has she spoken yet? Tai-ho asked. No, Mina said. Not a word since we brought her here. Du-ho joined them. Many aliens had stayed on Earth after the queen's fall. Without her control, They were free to think for themselves. Many chose to help rebuild what had been destroyed. She may never speak again, Duho said. The names have broken something inside her. She hears each one. She feels each loss. Good, said Hawan. Let her feel what we felt. But Teho shook his head. Not just good, necessary. She must learn what it means to remember names, not just take blood. That evening, they gathered in the main hall of the memorial. Humans and Allians stood together as new names were added to the database. Each person stepped forward, spoke a name, and told a short story. Lee Minho, my brother. He loved to sing, even though he wasn't very good at it. Park Sun-young, my neighbor. She grew the best tomatoes and shared them with everyone on our street. When it was Teho's turn, he stepped forward. Min, my daughter, 7 years old. She loved to draw tigers. As he spoke, something strange happened. The queen, who had been brought to the ceremony, lifted her head. A tear fell from her eye, the first emotion she had shown in months. Later, as people were leaving, the queen spoke. Her voice was very quiet, but Teho heard her. I had a name once, she said, before the tiger. Taho turned to her. What was it? Jisoo, she said. I was Jisoo. Then that is what we will call you, Taho said. Not queen. Jisoo. In the years that followed, Earth began to heal. The knowledge from the Allians helped humans build better cities, cleaner energy, new medicines. The remaining Allian ships were turned into homes and research centers. Jisoo remained at the memorial, listening to the names. Slowly, she began to help. She told the stories of other worlds the tiger had consumed. More names were added to the database. One day, 10 years after the war, Teho found Jisoo in the garden outside the memorial. She was watching children play, human children and young Allians together. Do you regret it? Teho asked her. What you did? Jisoo was quiet for a long time. Then she said, the tiger promises power without price, but there is always a price. And now I pay it, she said. With each name, I remember. That is my tiger now. Fed with names, not blood. Above them, the stars were coming out. Worlds where other tigers might sleep, waiting to be woken. But now Earth knew how to fight them. Not with weapons or war, but with names, with memory, with the stories of those who lived and died. The Tiger Queen had fed her beast with blood. Humanity fed theirs with the names of the dead. And in that difference lay all the difference in the universe.